You want some sweet tea? I just made it myself.
Matt Scranton says hi. Hi,
I
Marc.
left the tea on the back porch next to an apple pie. Isn't that what you people in the Midwest and South say?
No.
No. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Yay.
It's another day of nonsense and questions and just hanging out. You know, good stuff.
Yep. So I figured out how I can monitor both chat rooms.
Oh, God.
The Discord chat room. See, Facebook makes it hard because they don't, like, it's just a
Facebook makes it impossible
Yeah.
for us.
But if I have streaming chats, I can kind of, you know, look at
well,
those.
we'll see about that.
Yeah. Plus, the Discord chat room now has a duck Mona.
Oh, good, good, good. Is it a duck Mona?
It is a duck Mona.
Nice. We need a goose Mona as well. All right, so.
Hey, we're here.
Hi, everyone.
And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you should head over to Patreon.
Yeah, head over to Patreon. Speaking of which, that's patreon.com/woodwhisper. You can help support the show, get some cool stuff, get access to some cool stuff.
Crap.
Oh, Nicole.
That was my phone.
You know how much I paid for this? A lot. Okay.
I was more worried about my case.
So quick announcement. We are doing a show right now, but we do have the Friday Live PM edition coming tonight. So
You did it! Yay!
in case you don't get enough of these smiling faces, you can get an evening burst of spag goodness tonight.
It's going to be interesting. We've never done it before.
Yeah, we have no idea what to expect. There will be beer involved.
Our neighbor, Jim, lovely Jim.
Jim has supplied us with a delicious beer that he says is the best beer in the world. And 10 p.m. Eastern is the time, 7 p.m. Pacific, and that's what, 8 p.m. for us? And hopefully the kids will cooperate. Yep. I mean, obviously all of this is like kid...
I might be in and out.
Dependent, yeah.
I'll have a baby monitor, yeah.
Another thing I'd like to mention is we are going to start taking voicemails on this show. Oh. So if you want, you can send us a voice memo. Just use the voice memo app on your phone and send it to live@thewoodwhisperer.com. And then we'll be able to play those on the show.
Hey,
so do that.
that's a great idea.
I think it's pretty cool.
That should have been like a goal or something.
It works for Wood Talk. It is a goal. We just hit it. Congratulations, everyone. Okay, so before I get into emails and stuff, if we have some thank yous, let's do those real quick.
Oh, yeah. What are we doing?
Thank yous.
So
you brought them in.
Yeah. Sorry. So here's a new T-shirt for you from Aaron Chinawat. Chinawat?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Chenault or Chenault. This is fantastic. It says pine is fine. This is actually really hard for me to wear on the show, though. I can't wear light colors. But this is fantastic, and I will wear this with pride.
Well, what I'm currently doing...
in public.
I'm redesigning one to put one up in our Teespring store.
Oh, cool.
And it will be a darker color, so I'll order you a darker color.
By the way, just so everyone knows, not that I'm asking anyone to send me anything, but if you do send me something, my T-shirt size is large. Yeah. So, and this is large, which is perfect.
Because he asked me.
Right, but I'm just saying, some people have sent us like XLs, and then it's a little bit too big.
Well, you do have a couple XLs, but they were like small XLs, and they shrunk over time.
But most of the time, large is going to suit
and
me
then
just fine.
I got a package from Mr. Robert, is it Blowers? I thought it was Blowers.
Blowers?
But anyway, he sent me 3 awesome challenge coins.
Wow.
Operation Urgent Fury. This is the 82nd Airborne Division. October 1979. Wow.
December 1979. Wow, this is interesting.
This is so cool.
So much history in these coins.
They really are, and I can't wait for you to get me a make me a little stand so I can put it up or something.
Nicole has quite a collection.
And look at this one.
Of name tags and hairnets.
What is that? What movie is that
Wayne's
from?
World.
Oh.
I have an extensive collection of name tags and hairnets.
And this one is a paratrooper. Oh, look at him. Look at him.
Okay,
so, cool.
So
anyway,
this just in.
Robert.
This just in, scheduling update.
Yeah.
I wanted to let everyone know that Shannon is going to have a live session yesterday. So make sure you catch that one. I wanted to promote it, and I said, hey, man, when is your live session? I thought it was tonight. And it goes, it was yesterday.
Oh, last night.
So if you want to catch that, just hop in your time machine, and it should be a good time over at Renaissance Woodworker.
We don't have any special guests planned for tonight.
Special guests? No. We're lucky to have a show tonight.
Yeah.
And if there is a special guest, it will most likely be Mateo. Going, Mom, Dad, I have to pee. Come with me. All right, so let's get into the stuff, shall we?
Michael wants to know who your favorite character is from DuckTales.
DuckTales?
It's of course, it's Scrooge McDuck.
No, Launchpad McQuack.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
All right. Did you want to do the thank yous at the top?
Nope. We'll do it at the end.
Okay, at the bottom.
So let's. This actually is a little bit of kickback. We're taking a little bit of the Wood Talk format here. Someone who says, for Henrik the Dane in the last show, while Scandinavia seems barren on hand tools, all is not lost. I have 2 shops to recommend. Axminster. It's axminster.co.uk. And fine-tools.com. Both are reputable, helpful, and quick.
There you go.
So check those out.
Scandinavia.
Yeah. Helping out a fellow Scandinavian. You guys are good.
He's in the, I got that from the Discord chat.
Good. Always looking out for each other. Stuart Johnson wrote in. He says, do you see an advantage to using either metric or imperial decimal instead of fraction? That's a tricky one, because I think when it comes to even metric and imperial, a lot of times it's what you're used to that you become the most fluent in. For instance, English, as I understand it, is a fairly difficult language to learn, as evidenced by the way we use it sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? But it's what we grew up on, so that's what we speak. And the same thing happens when you're talking about units of measure. A lot of times if you're fluent in dividing fractions, because that's what you do, then you're used to it. So for me, I think it would be a little bit harder for me to just switch all to either metric or decimal on either one, simply because I would need conversion charts to do it. Off the top of my head, I don't know the decimal equivalent of 3/8 of an inch, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say. If you feel like it's better, I do think metric and decimal are both better, because I think it's easier to do that math a little bit faster. There's less memorization required. You could do more calculations in your head. But unless you're brought up doing that, it makes it difficult to switch. M13 Woodworks, Michael Brindle. Hi, Mark. Wanted to know what your next skill type goal in woodworking is and where you think the Wood Whisperer will be in 5 years. In addition, do you set yearly goals for your woodworking? Would you recommend others set goals for themselves? Well, the 5-year question, no idea. We never know. We just want to be successful and happy. That's our plan for 5 years, right? And whatever gets us there. Do I set woodworking goals?
You do. Well, you used to say you wanted to take a class a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And where did that go?
I don't know.
It moved to Colorado. Is where that goes.
But you were doing that. You went to William Ing's school and you built the Blacker House chair.
Yeah, I did want to at least take one class with a project that was definitely not totally within my skill set, one a year. And the problem is with 2 kids and a business that takes all of my time, it's really hard to just, you guys know how it is. It's difficult to get away to do that stuff, so it doesn't always happen. But absolutely set goals. If you don't set goals, and this I think goes for woodworking, for life in general, Nicole and I are very big goal setters. And there's a difference between setting a goal and basically a New Year's resolution is a great goal that always gets backtracked on. There's a big difference between that sort of New Year's resolution mentality and a true goal. True goals are things that you should eventually meet. You know, they shouldn't be completely crazy, unrealistic goals. So I do believe setting goals is a great way to sort of manage your woodworking as well as your life in general. So yes, have woodworking goals. It's a little bit difficult for me to have and hold on to those woodworking goals. I mentioned schedule conflicts, but also the fact that I'm running a business and trying to produce content that people would find interesting. That often is at odds with my personal woodworking goals, you know, which, and I've mentioned that before, that the show holds me back in a sense of how much woodworking I can learn and experimentation I can do.
Well, wasn't it, you might have said it and I kind of tuned you out, I'm sorry. I remember David saying that working with other woodworkers, it's a chance to...
Anytime you work with other woodworkers, you're gonna, even if they're not a woodworker that's at your skill level, it doesn't matter. Like, we can all teach each other stuff, which is really, really cool.
Inspire.
Which is what's great about the content production and the amount of people who are making content these days, is you can get a ton of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy wrote in, I'm a social media and technology knuckle dragger. Any suggestions on where you can learn where I can learn to get my advertising and business presence known? Nicole.
All right, so there's a couple of recommendations I have for you. If you go to, I have a website, not many people know about it. It's Nicole Spag.
Oh, sorry.
You're terrible. NicoleSpag.com/resources. And what I did was because I had very similar questions I've gotten over the years, you know, how'd you get started? What do you use? So I just basically created a blog post And in that blog post, there are books we read.
It might be a little dated, right? I mean, do you keep that updated?
I still keep it updated.
Because some of the information in there is from talks we've done at like pod camps and things in the past.
But the bloggers, here's the thing. There's a lot of information out there, and there are a few people that I do follow. Two guys that started out right around the time we did, started up a website called Internet Business Mastery, and they do a podcast, so you can listen to that podcast as well. And they have like an academy very similar to what we do in the guild, where it's a whole course. They will walk you through online marketing, whether it be video, Instagram, all of it. They do this whole thing. So Foolish Adventure, that's old. Yeah. And then who's the guy that does the Ask? You know who I'm talking about?
I would need a little more information.
Oh, he's a very popular podcaster, and he does all kinds, like, I'm blanking on his name, but if you go in iTunes, you see him all the time. But anyway, NicoleSpag.com/resources, and of course, if you have a question, I'll try to help you. But it's overwhelming. I agree on how to get started.
And you know what? Piece of advice: just get in there and start doing something.
Yes.
You could
start with one thing.
Like on information resources, basically these gurus that are out there selling courses on how to do things. Beware of how much money you put into that. There's a lot of free resources. You really shouldn't have to spend very much to get an understanding. And the best way to understand how to market a business in any particular social media platform is to go there and look at what successful businesses are doing on that platform and learn the personality of that platform. I think that's huge because you could be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they all have different personalities and different tactics.
Oh, I do need to update that. I don't use Red Foundry anymore for our mobile app.
That's old, yo.
That's a little bit old.
That's so old.
But a lot of this is still valid.
Sure.
Like, you know.
Yep.
So.
All right, Thomas wrote in, he says, what do you do when you started a project, you got quite a bit of time in it, and then you realize that it's just not turning out the way you were hoping? Do you finish knowing that all things you would have done different, or scrap what you can and start over? Being a weekend woodworker, it's hard to see all the time lost. However, I don't see myself being satisfied at the end like I should be. For something like that, you know, I never scrap a project. Very rarely do I get far enough in and I'm invested in it at that point. Do I say, forget this, you know, scrap it for parts and do something else? I always finish a project. And the reason I do that is because no matter how bad you think it is, it's usually good enough for other people, right? So if you don't want to look at it because it's going to drive you nuts, give it to a family member. They're going to love it. They're going to appreciate it. And you don't have to look at it every day. So don't just scrap it. It's going to be a useful piece of furniture that someone else will cherish. Right?
Pat Flynn. Thank you, Simple Cove.
Okay.
That was who I was thinking of. Pat Flynn. All
you gave me to work with was the Ask guy.
Well, he does Ask Pat, and I was trying to remember his name.
I don't really follow his stuff. Okie dokie. So we have John Schmidt looking to purchase a plunge router, looking for one that won't break the bank. Any recommendations? Well, there's a lot of different plunge routers out there. What I would do to help, you know, guide your decision, pun intended, is find a router that has a good edge guide available for it. Not all of them do. So like the Milwaukee, for instance, seems like it's a pretty decent router, but they don't make a plunge guide for it. You'd have to find an aftermarket thing to get that done. Porter Cable sells a really decent, I say aftermarket, but it is a branded Porter Cable edge guide that also does circles and stuff like that. I had that. I actually just sold it because I never had a chance to use it and experiment with it, but it gets good reviews, and I think that should work really well. Of course, this is all for me being compared to the Festool setup, which has great micro adjustment. So when I look at these things, I'm trying to see how close I can get to that setup. And I think the Porter Cable one is going to be a pretty good option. I don't know how many different models that edge guide will fit on, but I know it is obviously compatible with Porter Cable. Bosch has a decent edge guide, as does DeWalt.
I was going to say, Matt just recommended the DeWalt DW616.
Yeah, there you go. So look into those. Those are your average sort of construction grade level routers that work perfectly fine. But again, find the one that has a good edge guide that you like, because frankly, if you're doing a lot of fine woodworking, that edge guide is your friend. And if it's clunky and doesn't hold its settings, that's going to be a giant pain in the butt.
We got a couple of super chats.
Okay, we got time.
We have one from Ness, but it says message deleted.
Why'd you delete
that? Derek Giddings. Thank you. He didn't ask a question. Just
hey, thanks,
give
Derek.
us a super chat, and then Sean Smith, $20. That is real dollars.
Not pesos?
Not pesos.
Not 20 pesos?
Get some good adult beverages for tonight's show on me. Was also wondering when Marc is going to do a challenge coin display case.
Don't ask that question, Sean.
No, I've already asked him. He's doing it. So I need one for my collection, but I can't design worth a damn.
Okay. Well, my design is just going to be a copy of someone else's design. So.
I'm going to probably look at a bunch of different ones and
pick what you like.
What I like.
Okay.
Design that way.
That works. All right, next one is Brendan. He says, He says, I don't have the time or money to build an amazing Roubo bench in the guild. However, I'm trying to build something more substantial than what I have. I'm designing a simple yet substantial bench and would like to know what vices I should design into the bench. Price is an issue, and this bench will be replaced in the next couple of years by a Roubo, so be kind. All right. The last sentence is what really set me in the direction here for an answer, because there's a lot of different vices, from homemade sort of solutions to you just get raw hardware, slap on some wood faces, a lot of different ways you can go. But when you're building a bench that's temporary and you're saying in a couple years you're going to replace it, I would not put too much money and effort into this. So I would get a reasonably priced quick release vise. You can attach them to just about any kind of a workbench. They work really well with that quick release mechanism. Yeah, they might not be perfect for everything, but put some wooden jaws in there and you'll get good work holding. You usually have a retractable dog that you could set up. So if you have dog holes in line with that, you could put one on the front, one on the side, get dog holes on the top of your bench, and you're set. Quick release vices aren't very expensive. I think that's probably the best way to go. And then you could just, when you are ready to upgrade, gut that thing and sell the quick release vices or put them on another auxiliary table somewhere. Right, Nicole? I like how Nicole just sits here and just lets it wash over her.
I pick up some things.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
Chicken butt.
I finally got the giveaway live. So June giveaway, Paramag Drone Center. If you go to the giveaway page, thewoodwhisperer.com/giveaway. Canada and US only. Sorry everybody else, but that's the rules.
We don't make up the rules.
We don't make
They are what they are.
So yeah. Drum sander!
Drum sander! Woo! I mean, that's, what a prize.
$2,500.
I can't believe that we can facilitate that.
Hey, I'm awesome.
I am impressed with you, young lady.
It's really Powermatic. That's awesome.
I am impressed with Powermatic, young lady. Okay, Terry Carter. Hi, Marc. I'm making several blanket chests, 3 out of red oak, 1 walnut, and 1 cherry. Boy, that sounds like a lot of work. My question is, I know before finishing the oak, I need to put water on it to raise the grain fibers. Do I need to do this with the walnut and the cherry also? Okay, this pre-raising the grain, let's talk about 2 things very quickly. One, it's something that you would need to do on any wood. It is not exclusive to oak. Just about any wood will have grain raising if you stain it with a water-based stain or hit it with a water-based finish. So pre-raising the grain, which is spraying it down with some clean water, letting it dry, and then sanding it lightly with a high grit. That's something you want to do no matter what the species is. So yes, do that also on those other pieces. The caveat here is you haven't really told me what finish you're using. So you don't always have to raise the grain. It's generally, if you're going to hit it with something water-based, and sometimes, alcohol-based things too. If you wanted to, you could always do this on any project. It doesn't hurt anything. It can only help, but you really only need to do it on water-based projects. So if your top coat is going to be a lacquer or an oil-based finish, you don't necessarily need to raise the grain at all. So just keep that in mind. M13 again says, I recently had a moment where I realized my 6-inch joiner may do everything I need if I first plane the piece of lumber on my 13-inch planer, get a flat surface, and then use my 6-inch jointer to get a 90-degree edge, referencing off the fence. So he wants to know, because now he wouldn't need a larger joiner, are there any disadvantages to this method? Okay, so what he's really talking about is skip planing. So if you take a board that hasn't been surfaced at all, just from the lumber yard, throw that through your planer, take a light pass, flip it, take a light pass. You're sort of doing what they call skip planing. So in the end, you will get a roughly flat board. The trouble with that is it's not truly dead flat. Now, if the board started off flat to begin with, you'll be in better shape. But if that board has a bow or a twist, it's actually just going to follow that twist. Sending it through the planer will not completely flatten it. So this will work if the boards are already flat for the most part and you're not real picky about what flat really means. But if you truly want flat boards, you're going to need to joint that face before you take it over to the jointer and hit the edge. Okay, so just keep in mind, the planer will not always give you dead flat and parallel planes. It's just, well, I guess you could say it will always give you parallel planes, but things will not always be flat. It's just going to follow the path of whatever is on the bottom side as you send it through. So yes and no, that may work, but it also may not work, and it may bite you in the butt at some point.
It may work, but then again, it may not.
Yep, it's one of those woodworking things. Philip Erickson is making a barbecue cart outside and wants to know if he's crazy to use plywood on a cabinet outside. Plywood isn't that bad. I mean, especially if you get like a, go ahead.
I was going to say, doesn't plywood kind of like buckle?
It can buckle, it can delaminate, because you have all those layers in there. There is plywood out there that is like a marine ply that's intended for outdoor usage. This stuff, the T111 that's on the walls, that is a plywood, and that's rated for outdoor use. So it certainly is possible. Just make sure you get the right stuff. And if that is a little bit, maybe it's expensive or hard to find, well, then you probably are better off with solid wood. Now, I like the solid wood option because anything that's outside probably at some point is going to need to be refinished, right? And if you've got a plywood out there, refinishing it is going to be a little bit hairier of an operation because you've got veneers to deal with, right? Solid wood is a whole lot easier to strip, refinish, sand, and reapply. So weigh your options.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Joseph.
My goodness.
Joseph Mensch just said, happy Friday, Spagnolos.
Hey, Joseph, thank you.
$20. And then we got Rob Atkins. Do you have an opinion on the Shaper Origin?
Shaper Origin?
Oh, Shaper.
Handheld CNC.
People just want to hear me mispronounce everything.
I have no opinion on that beyond just like everyone else. I've seen it on the internet. It looks neat.
It's a CNC?
It's a handheld CNC, so it basically is a guided system. So you have...
Isn't that just a router then?
No, it is a router. It's a handheld router, but it's computerized, and you sort of have to just get it close to where it needs to go, and then it routes the pattern that you want it to route. It's cool technology.
Yeah.
Do I have a use for it? I don't know. I don't think so. Same thing with CNC. It's cool technology, but it's not something I'm going to delve into. But I haven't had my hands on it, so I have no informed opinion to give you.
Cool.
Okay, my last question on the paper.
Yeah.
Trying to decide between a 36 and a 50-inch table for the Sawstop PCS. Don't have a ton of space. What kinds of projects need a bigger table? Also, are there any drawbacks to having a router table built in? Let's go look at my table, because my table saw is a wider version than my last one. Bye, Nicole.
Bye. I
do have the full-length table on my PM2000 here. I have the room, and that's why I have it. In my last shop, I actually, boy, that's a dark picture, huh? In my last shop, I actually trimmed it down to 36 and only had, one section here because I didn't really need it. And the reason I didn't need it is because I break down my plywood all the way over there with a track saw. Once you break down your plywood with a track saw, your need for a full-length table like this diminishes. So if you have another means to break down your plywood, then I don't think you necessarily need that big giant table. The only thing that makes me second guess that is when you said something about a router table. Now, if you have a router table in the extension, making it a functional space, more room is going to be good because you need to have a little bit of separation between the table saw side and the router side, and that means that you won't have to kind of move things quite as much. These things collect crap, right? So if you've got stuff on the table saw side, and you want to use that, you've got more room to kind of shift things around and move from one operation to the other. So I think you have to, again, this is another weigh your options thing. I like the idea of a router table in the extension wing because it's very efficient on space. But you probably do want the wider table to get that done. You don't need it. There's plenty of people who have that router insert on a smaller table, but I think it actually gives you more room to play with if you have that longer version of the fence system there, all right? But I can tell you the number of times that I've used that full length of that table, can count them on one hand. I just don't need it that often.
Jared wants to know, why are people paying you?
Why are they paying us?
I think the super chats, yeah.
For the super chats?
Because we get...
You'll have to ask them.
Yeah. Usually, so the super chats just kind of highlight the question for me because I'm monitoring a number of things. The questions that Marc is reading from actually come from the Patreon account.
Yeah, pre-selected questions come from Patreon.
Yeah.
And then we try to grab what we can live.
Well, and also grab a few questions that come in through the Discord channel too.
Super chat is not our invention. It's something that YouTube came up with to facilitate this type of thing. Yeah. That literally people can pay a little bit of money to get their question noticed or their comment highlighted and noticed. And because they are doing that, we certainly feel obligated to quickly answer that question for them.
Yep.
So. But why they do it is that's up to them. Yeah. And you know, here's the thing: we're a small family company, you know, and we since 2006 have always been a very small organization. And yeah, we've grown a lot since then. The company is bigger in a sense, where we have my mom helping out, but it is still a very small grassroots kind of business. And I think people just like to help us out. They just want to see us succeed. And
Nar just said, super chats are $20? No. You can make the amount however much you want.
They can be $1. 2 pesos.
Yeah.
Send us pesos.
So.
But if you're new to this, you might not necessarily know our history and know why people would want to throw a couple of bucks at 2 yahoos talking to people.
Yeah, because you might be on the Offcuts channel, because the Offcuts channel is relatively new.
Yeah.
But if you go over to youtube.com/woodwhisper, or is it the Woodwhisper or Woodwhisper?
youtube.com/woodwhisper.
Yeah, you'll see almost 300.
Or the Woodwhisper.
So I don't
know either.
Just go to our website.
It's probably the Woodwhisper. Shoot, just search for Woodwhisper.
Yes, yeah. So.
Oh, that's terrible, Nicole. That we don't even know our own URL.
I know. Oh, Vic, for your what's that?
Veba account.
Veba. What's a Veba?
VEBA. Tell us what that is.
Tell us, Vic. What is Veba?
I don't know what VEBA is. Very edible, but arg. That's a pirate statement. Very edible, but arg.
Robert wants to know, do we have any 360 videos of the shop? No, we don't. But what I need to do is because what I have done in the past.
We did a 360 video, but I don't think it was a shop tour.
It was crappy.
360, unless you really throw a lot of money at the gear, is not all it's cracked up to be. And we have a camera that does it. It just doesn't look very good. And we tried it once.
Yeah, high quality.
Yeah, and people were like, it's neat, novelty, but not something that's very functional.
Well, until they really kind of step up the quality.
Well, and the funny thing is everything is like, 1080p. But the resolution and the bit rate on it is so low that it looks like garbage.
Yeah.
So.
But I've been pulling questions.
Did someone just say you get a holla for $1?
Hello. Brian Walker wants to know, a dehumidifier in my small garage shop prior to final construction and finishing my wood projects. Any concerns? Finishing problems wood from a damp basement, or will the finish cure okay anyway?
Finishes will eventually cure. Yeah. You do have to watch your humidity though. If it's too dry, that's not a problem. I dealt with that in Arizona, and frankly, a super dry environment was awesome for finishing. But you do have to watch it.
Here
well, yeah, humidity can be a problem. Things take longer to cure. If the humidity is really high, especially if you're like spraying a quick drying finish, that moisture can actually get trapped in the finish and cause blushing and like a haze. So you have to be careful. And sometimes you may have to add, I don't know, I know in Arizona there were times where it was so hot and so dry that we'd have to go the other way and add a retarder to the finish to make it take longer so that some of that moisture can work its way out before the finish actually dries up and cures. So when it comes to humidity, you've got to find a balance. I think the best thing for humidity and your conditions is not so much the number that you hit. You do want to be on the drier side. It's not so much the number you hit, it's consistency. If you have a lot of fluctuation in humidity, then you have problems. If you can keep it under control and, I don't know, maybe keep it in a 35% to 40%, something like that, in that range, and also have that range be pretty close to what you have in the environment the furniture is eventually going to go, your house, then you have the best situation. You want stability, and that sort of gives you predictability.
So Vic said it's a non-taxable medical account. And yeah, we've been sick a lot, so I should probably make one of those.
Yeah, all the kids' visits are ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Ava with a double earache now.
Oh yeah, not an earache, ear infection.
Or double ear infection, like massive ear infection.
And she didn't even like.
We didn't
gave
know.
No signs.
She just
that
had
she had
sniffles and a fever.
Yeah. The fever is what I was like, oh, I guess we were going to. So Joseph just said something really nice.
Joseph!
He said it's about supporting the show, love Wood Whisperer, and love the Guild. The Spagnolias have done a lot to educate, entertain, and inspire me. Just my small way of showing appreciation. Thanks, Joseph.
And we obviously appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what? We accept hugs,
yeah.
right? The problem is there is no technology that allows you to hug us remotely. So dollars are our virtual hugs. That's how I see it. I would take a hug from Joseph, but I'll also take a $20 bill.
So Stephen Jarvie says, I'm going to the UK and Ireland next week. Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
I would love to go to
Sweet.
Ireland.
Good day, mate.
Wrong.
Oh.
Wrong. Are there any hand tool brands native to that area I can buy as a souvenir? Also, you guys make my Friday. Oh,
that's so cool. Stephen, I don't know. I have no idea.
But you know who knows? People watching this video.
Yeah, plenty of people who watch this video.
So there might even be somebody.
And there are absolutely going to be, you know, at least UK, British companies. And I'm spacing on them right now, but you can absolutely find things in that area. I believe one of the best steels that we used to get in chisels were like Sheffield steel, if I remember correctly. So there might be something there that you can go look at. I would say anything you could find that is tool related in that area, just go see what they have. Find like a secondhand store that's got some cool stuff. I mean, just to be in another country and to look at the things that they have there, even if you're not hunting specific brands or companies, just could be so much fun, you know, to see what's around there. But definitely ask folks who might know a little bit more about the overseas brands. I'm not really the person to ask for.
So Escape MCP is saying try
woodworkersworkshop.co.uk because they can't put links in the chat room, so it's confusing.
Or
Robert Sorby, Axminster.
Yeah, these are all.
So yeah, we mentioned those before when someone said about the Scandinavian tool places. So there should be some resources there. I'll call my brother and ask him. He's not a woodworker though.
Well, he might. You know what? Probably just Google it and just say. Google it. Or go to Yelp.
Just look up Google it.
Google it.
All right. Can we do one more question?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I have to rest my voice. Actually, I have to go mow the lawn. And then we have a show to do tonight. So.
Drem Wolf wants to know, Mark, what was your most challenging project that you would do again?
I think the most challenging project is the Blacker House chair. And I wouldn't do it again, though. The problem with the Blacker House chair is that my regret with it is I did take it into class, which was the only format that I could. And to get that chair done in 10 days, so many things have to be done for you, the design of the jigs and things like that. So I felt like I was kind of an assembly line worker. I got a glimpse into the design and how it was all done. But unless I have all of those jigs pre-made and pre-set up, I could not reproduce that chair. So that is one regret with it, but without a doubt, it was one of the most challenging projects ever. But William Ng did a lot of my work for me. You know what I mean? Just by designing the class. You know, so I would say though that is probably one of the more complex projects that I've ever had the opportunity.
Lance, if you're still watching, I hope your mom's okay. She got rushed to the hospital.
Oh no.
With pneumonia.
Oh geez, sorry to hear that.
Yep.
That is tough. All right, anything else as we close it out? I'm going to get my Patreon thanks ready to roll.
Oh, how do you say his name? Sharif. He's in the Discord.
Sharif Shawan.
We've been so I hang out in the Discord chat room on occasion and talk with everybody, and we're having fun conversations. And guess what? I allow GIFs and memes in the chat room.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Nicole.
Oh my God. But he says a lot of decent British hand tools are pretty pricey these days. See if you can get a Clifton plane. They are beautiful.
Oh yeah, baby.
David wants to know, how do you decide what type of edge profile you put on your projects and what size?
I'm not really big on edge profiles. I like little roundovers, soft roundovers. Occasionally, I like a good chamfer once in a while. but I'm not really big on profiles. So my profile bit collection is extremely limited. Just, you know, anytime I see an OG, it makes me want to throw up.
What's an OG?
Just kidding. It's a profile, classic OG profile.
Okay.
It just reminds me of like country furniture.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. It's a personal taste thing, but I'm not a fan of OGs. Down with OGs, y'all. Right?
I guess.
Screw OGs and Cremona.
You know what? Bill,
From Bill Schneer. Schneer. You know what, Bill? I can't believe I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
Billy's little bench.
Aw. He gave for Mateo's online gaming.
Oh, thanks. Did you see the crap he was posting? My son playing like some poker game.
I don't know what it was.
And all these things are flowing into my Facebook account.
I didn't think you had connected Facebook to it.
Well, it's on my iPad,
yeah.
so I don't. But if he downloads a new game and just enables Facebook integration.
Yeah. So there's like just images on Marc's Facebook. I guess Mateo likes to take
it was ridiculous
screenshots of his game.
Okay, so I'm going to pick a winner.
Did you say thank you to everybody?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm going to pick a winner, and this person is going to be able to pick a guild project, so you'll work with Nicole on that. Philip Erickson asked the question about the barbecue cart outdoor cabinet, because frankly, I love barbecue. Yeah. So he gets an automatic win on that one just by mentioning barbecue.
No, nothing but barbecue questions are going to come in.
It only works once. And we're going to thank folks who helped us out, specifically on Patreon, patreon.com/woodwhisperer. These people gave us a few bucks.
Well, and these are the people that are making this PM show happen.
Keep in mind that it's such a tug of war, right? We got over 2,000, then it comes back down. Then it goes up, then it comes back down. So you guys are fighting the good fight here. Christopher Butler, Martin Israel, Jim Vinson, Fraggle. Now it's Fraggle Rock.
I know.
Josh Duplin, Rich Peterson, Joshua Perry, Stuart Johnson, Joshua Seiler, and Gene. So thank you so much, everybody, for helping us out. We truly appreciate it. And with your help and encouragement is really what it comes down to. We are able to do things like the PM show this evening, where we are going to do the same thing we do during the day, but at night. At night.
And if you are wondering about the Fuji spray contest that was last month, who won it, he did confirm with me. It's congratulations to Eldon Wedge Shield from Andover, Minnesota.
Nice.
So
well, congratulations,
he's already confirmed
Eldon.
his prize. And that's how I do it. Basically, the widget picks the winner. I send an email. They confirm. Prize gets shipped.
Okay.
So
sounds like a good process.
It's a very good process.
So tonight, as I swallow my own tongue.
It was a little, I heard it caught.
Who put that tongue there? Okay, tonight, I talked about before how I really want to focus more and get a little bit more in depth into a few things once in a while. So I think a good solution to that is to utilize the PM show for that, all right? We'll do the shotgun questions on the daytime show, and then for the evening show, that once a month thing, assuming we continue to do it, I'll deep dive into a couple of topics, and it won't be tons of questions, okay? So that's what we're gonna do tonight, and I'm gonna show you, based on questions that we received, how to apply an oil finish, at least a method that I think is good for applying oil finishes. And we'll talk about leveling out a box that's wobbly and uneven. Those are my two sort of core topics we'll cover tonight, and then we'll take questions here and there. Yeah. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Sound good?
Come hang out in the Discord chat room.
Right. Take off your pants. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, so it's really Carl, Scott, Hampshire, Matt Scranton, AD. We're all just in there talking.
Nicole's so happy with her chat room.
I am very happy with my chat room. It reminds me of here's the thing.
1989 all over again.
No, when we first started, that was one of the
89's a little early.
Yeah, it was.
It's 1995 all over again.
2006, 2007 was when we had the chat room, and it makes it easy. Like, I didn't like IRC. It was very cumbersome. It didn't save anything.
IRC is stupid.
This is multi-platform. I love it.
Sure. Hey, Nicole. You've got mail.
That was terrible.
You're like a person with an AOL email address.
Yes,
you are.
This is not AOL. Thank you. You're such a jerk.
All right. Love ya. All right, we'll see you guys tonight, right?
Yeah, come hang out with this jerk.